Beside me is my biggest project yet. Believe it or not, this thing has the potential to be the most profitable car in the series Rebuilding Cars until we get a supercar. Unlike everything else I've bought, we managed to get this for a great price. We only paid $1,700. There is a very big catch though. You see, this Audi is stolen, recovered. It is crash damaged. The battery is completely missing, so I've got no idea how many Ks are on this thing. And the biggest problem we have is this car doesn't come with a key and it doesn't drive. Believe it or not, we actually managed to get in touch with the previous owner and found out this wasn't even the first time this car's been stolen.
Called that brand new, bro.
Today, we're gonna try and clean this car up and piece together the puzzle of what actually happened to this car. The first challenge was getting it into the garage. It was an absolute nightmare. See, when you buy a car with no key, it's pretty hard to move it. And as you can see just here, the wheels aren't straight and the steering lock's on. So as it comes off the truck, it's headed straight for this pole. We're a little out of luck. We're not gonna be able to get this car in without pulling the front end over a little bit, and that is a problem because I don't have anything to be able to do that. I've got a plan for that. First, let's take a look at the car. This is my 2009 Audi S3. You can see a bunch of fingerprint dust all over the car, and it's been in a front end accident. Now you might be wondering why I sound so excited, and that is because this is the cheapest S3 in the country. And is that an exhaust? No, that's a stock exhaust. Okay, that's sad, but it does have some lowering springs on it. We're gonna find out a little bit more about what's on this car later because there are a couple of goodies. I don't even have a battery in this thing, but we did get a free jump cable. Oh, I'm so excited to tear into this thing. If you've watched my channel before, you might know that I started off with the 2017 Audi S3, and this thing, well, it's a bit older, it's 2009. For that exact reason, S3s have a special place in my heart. At the moment, the car's half in, half out of the garage, but while we wait for a solution to that, I found a mechanic service sticker on the car's windshield and decided to call him to see if we might be able to get in touch with the previous owner. If somehow we managed to get the key back, that is a massive saving for us. I don't actually even know how to go about starting the car without the key. So thankful it's unlocked though. That's a win.
Hey mate, I'm back.
Hey, how are ya? So you might not be able to help me out with my next question. If you might be able to reach out to them to see if they have a key.
Well, I can give you his number, but
So, I don't know if he should have, but he actually gave me the name and number of the previous owner. This is massive. I'm really hoping we manage to get one of the spare keys back. For now, we've just been given the tools to help us get the car in the garage. Ta-da! Alright, these are wheel dollies. So, jack the car up, put that on the front wheels, then we should be able to turn the front of the car, put the handbrake off and push it the rest of the way in. These things are pretty cool, but I've never really used them before, and I'm pretty sure you're meant to use all four at a time, not do what I'm doing. But I literally needed to move it just a tiny bit. Now the hope is that with these on both of the front wheels, I should be able to push this to the side a little bit and roll the car forward into the space. But that's easier said than done. There we go. Thankfully, I managed to actually push the car over, and that was quite easy. But as soon as I went to push it forward, it just wouldn't move. It felt like there was a lot of resistance against the front wheels. Oh, come on. I tried for a really long time to do this, and I was getting pretty frustrated. Current working theory is two people can't push this because there's a lot of resistance on the front because we're essentially trying to push 8 little wheels forward against concrete. Push the car over pretty far that way. If I now take those wheel dollies off, it should be easier to push the car. So yeah, we're gonna try that. I feel like I spent way too much time trying to push it in with the wheel dollies because as soon as I took them off, yes, it was still hard to push the car because we're on a slight incline, but we got it in. Okay, so lesson learned, it's not as easy to push freaking non-running, non-driving cars as I thought it was. But now that we got this thing in here, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 projects in the garage, and I even have another one. You'll find out about that one soon. I'm trying to make sure I have enough to make content on for you guys. If you've watched the channel and are curious whether or not we're actually gonna get a supercar, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. Best thing about it is we can definitely make our money and some in parts alone. But with front end damaged cars, there's usually a lot of little parts behind the bumper. if you peek in, I can already see some things that are broken. So for this, we're gonna have a calculated plan. We are going to decide whether or not we do one of three things. 1, sell it as is to somebody else. 2, fix it and sell it for a profit or daily drive it. Or 3, should we just part it out? I know it's not the most interesting thing to watch, and we're not doing parting out cars until we reach a supercar, but it could be the smartest option for this. So we have to keep it in mind. If you don't know what parting out a car is, it's exactly what it sounds like, selling a car for parts. Breaking down the entire thing. Because we paid so little for this car, we should be able to make our money back pretty quickly. And because we're looking for something to make a profit on, I'm not sure if we're gonna make more money parting this car out and selling things off individually, or if we'll make more fixing the car. Either way, we're gonna get this thing cleaned up first. Now there is a lot of fingerprint dust all over this car. It doesn't look good. It's all over the front of the car here, the door handles, and literally the entire interior. The steering wheel is covered, the doors are covered, including the windows. Everywhere a thief would have touched, there is fingerprint dust. We needed to go grab some quick supplies to help us clean it all off. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but that driveway over there is extremely steep. I'm gonna show you my favorite thing about driving a car you don't give a shit about. Listen carefully. We grabbed some McGuire's quick detailer and some microfiber. $70 worth of cleaning equipment. I get it, but like, actually I don't get it. That's just ridiculous. First thing, apparently, it makes it worse if you use water on this. So some toilet paper and some paper towel. Then we'll move on to this quick detailer. I've been wanting to do this for ages. I've been hiding this car from you in the garage for a little while now. And seeing all the fingerprint dust on this thing, it's not a good look. But I'm glad I waited because the payoff was worth it. Straight away, this thing is looking way better. It looks better from afar, but it is still very, very, very dirty. And obviously, like, the paper towel wasn't working all that great on these little windowsill bits and bits of rubber and whatever else. Like, there's probably a great example of where it's just really hard to take off. We've done the back, but as you can see, a lot of it's still stuck on, so hopefully that'll come off with some soap. Let's move on to the inside. I've never dealt with a stolen car or fingerprint dust before, and this thing was coated absolutely everywhere. It also wasn't coming off that easy on the inside. So to start off, I've only gone through this with some toilet paper, but the steering wheels are looking a lot cleaner. That is looking less coated. Everything is looking less coated, but I've noticed all the porous areas, this stuff is really hard to get off, like it's stuck in there. So I'm gonna go over it with a microfiber cloth, and then I've got that quick detailer spray. Using the quick detailer with the microfiber was much better, but you really have to be rough with it. It really didn't want to come off. I still feel like I haven't done a great job, and I'll have to be going over all this again. That's when I found this. Now we're gonna rip out this ugly ass carpet protector, whatever. They're pretty dirty anyway. Oh, come on, man. Okay, maybe this is staying in there. Now, you know what? We'll get a mat to go in here that matches the carpet. We can't do that. That's just, I hate that. Hopefully the rear seats, pull it straight out. So we're gonna vacuum. I'm sure we can fix that carpet. And after a quick vacuum to finish it all off, this car is looking so much better than when it came in. Before it was looking like an absolute biohazard, and I hate looking at it in the garage. It's one thing to be crashed, it's another thing to be dirty. So to have it in this state is making me feel so much better about this project. I'm even kind of leaning towards daily driving it. That is if we can do this cheap enough. As I was doing this, I came up with a bit of an idea of, 1, what this car was stolen for, and 2, well, that's really it, just why this car was stolen. If we have a look in the back of the back of the passenger seat was actually off. And as you can see, there's just a bunch of Velcro holding it on to here, down there, and the other side. Now, I don't think this is the way that's meant to go. This one here as well is just held on by screws. It's like, it's doing nothing. So I'm going to assume that this car was stolen and potentially used for runs. I'm not really sure. Tell me what you think. I know that is a place that the police look when cars are stolen. I'm pretty sure that's a common spot to hide. And we've yet to even tackle the front end damage here, and we're gonna get around to that. But first, this car didn't come with a battery, and I've got no idea how many Ks are on the car. So let's get some power to the electronics. Okay, this was found in the engine bay. There wasn't a battery, but this car jumper was connected to the battery terminal. So I assume that somebody at the auction house had this hooked up to try and check the Ks, and guess that they left this in the car as a present for me. I went ahead and opened all the doors, just in case the car locks itself when I put power to it. Also, I'm thinking the alarm might go off. So, yep, rub on that. That's the negative one. If I jump this backwards, shit's not gonna be fun. Okay, there we go. Lights on. That one's not on. Inside the car. Okay, the dash is on and we've got 195,636 Ks on this thing. So this is pretty good. 200,000 Ks. The cheapest one that I can find is 14,000. And this one's got 500 horsepower though. The next lowest 4-door is 11,000, but it's got 268,000 Ks. We have plenty of margin in this car. And even though it needs a lot of love, I think we can do it. Guys, we actually have power to the car. Almost 200,000 Ks on it. Honestly, is like better than I expected. And now I'm gonna give the previous owner a call and pray he's gonna be able to give me the key. Hi, is this Greg?
Speaking.
Hey, my name's Jeremy. I actually think I might have your old car.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
I did have one of them.
After explaining to Greg the current state of the car, he told me how it was stolen off him.
I went overseas for 5 years and left it at a friend's panel shop. The guy who was in partnership with him sold all the cars that were in his yard. When I got it back from Geelong, they nicked all the wheels. I went and put new wheels on it. I think I put rotors on it.
Okay, here's where I got confused. He got the car back, but the car I have is very stolen. When did it leave you then? Because you should see the state it's in.
I sold it. One of my customers, Will, he buys cars and I bought a brand new Amarok and he bought it off me and sold it. I don't know what he did with it, but someone must have crashed it since then.
So this isn't even the first time this car's been stolen. The first time, Greg managed to get it back. Unfortunately, he didn't have a key anymore, but he did tell me some good things about the car. It's got an APR Stage 2 Plus tune on it and upgraded downpipes. Also, he said the mechatronics, something that controls the gearbox and is a common failure point, has just been redone. Now, even though the damage on this looks pretty good, you never know until you start taking things off. So in the next episode, we're going to rip apart that front end and see just how bad the damage is. Thank you very much, guys. And how cool is this? We've got 1, 2, 3 projects in our journey rebuilding cars until we get a supercar. Thanks very much. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey.